they're starting to find something. But you can say maybe all day long. At the end of the day, you still have to win, and that's what they have to do here.
I remember when we had CLG making changes a few seasons ago. They said it will take us time, and now we have the CLG team that has the cycle of slumping coming back, and they're even starting to repair that. It definitely takes time for any changes for a League of Legends team on the stage. It seems like it's so easy, but the little blips you get out of these clips, you're like, you know, the common things that players struggle against, you wouldn't expect until you hear it. Coming into the second game of the day, into picks and bans now. There's that Fizz, there's that Tristana. They will not get a chance to play on the side of Counterlogic Gaming.
COG's 3-game winning streak team comp has been heavily disrupted.
Yeah.
The Alistar ban as well, one of Aphromu's best champions. COG will have to go to their plan B, and Kalista goes to Sneaky for the third game in the row. Yeah.
Kalista Sivir again.
We'll
Do
see.
it.
We'll see if Doublelift goes for Sivir.
There's the Janna Gragas. Yeah. We've been seeing that combo, but put together quite a bit lately. CLG will get that still.
It's a lot of disengage potential. CLG hasn't been picking heavy on the engage, but that's because mainly they have just been rotating and crushing people in the turrets game and preventing the other team from being able to engage on them until the point where CLG has accrued a large gold lead. So those picks speak to that goal very strongly. Let's see if Cloud9 goes for even harder engage to try and counter that, or if they just opt in to the farm turret game.
We'll see. Aphromu has that Janna. He can roam. If he's not roaming, he's not happy. Hi now. Will we go with the jungler? They already see one. Don't have to.
Just want to point out how extremely targeted these bans are in this game. The Rumble and the Braum ban, especially since that's what Lemon Nation has been excelling on frequently. These are his two supports now. It's the Braum and the Karma. So he ends up going for the Karma, which can speak to a pretty nice kite and disengage game.
Yep, 1-0-17 on that Karma versus Dignitas in week 7. Very, very effective. That was with a Kalista bot lane as well, so they're going to be able to put that right back in. That was also High's Rengar game, if we do see him swap a jungler in besides Rek'Sai. Yeah,
interesting. Maybe Cloud9 ends up closing that team composition with an Orianna as well, just to go for the absurd shielding. They have the chance to do exactly the same team comp they played against Team Dignitas, which would be somewhat similar to what Cloud9 used to do, where they just kind of have their own tier list of champions, and they try and put them together, almost irregardless of what the enemy puts up.
Dang, this CLG comp can move. Gotta go fast, dash, dive, or disengage if they want it.
Yeah,
a little bit of everything.
Things that push away. The Azir ult only adding to that.
Yeah.
Pobelter's Azir has been very scary in the past as well, although he hasn't been playing it recently. All the way back to week 3 against Enemy for the last time he's played Azir.
Yeah.
But he's a very, very strong Azir player.
Not something that we see get through the pick ban phase so easily either, but maybe that's why C9 did it. They also saw that it wasn't played for some time. Maybe Pobelter has that in his pocket for a good play. It fits the team comp right now very well for CLG, and C9's wondering a little bit here, using all of their time to get these last few picks in. Again, could it be another unique pick for High in the jungle? Shyvana and Rengar so far. The Orianna could be coming in for Incarnation, a safe lane for him there.
Nidalee!
Now the Nidalee for High, still wanting somewhat of a carry position from that jungle.
Well, it's healing to go with shields as well. Healing becomes
that's what
very nice with shielding, especially on a tank. They could make balls an unkillable Maokai. It'll be difficult for COG to close kills unless they're fully engaging in a fight. So Cloud9 also going for a rotation-based shield and disengage type team that is difficult to poke down. This is not the type of game you would expect explosive team fights from. Could be a very map movement heavy match.
Real measured from both teams here. Seeing that Azir pick up first before the Orianna. Felt like Pobelter definitely wanted that, so they leave Zion Spartan for the last pick. That top lane Fizz has already been banned out. Gnar is open, can still provide a nice tank for the team. Zion knows how to play it quite well.
Absolutely. What will he go with? Because he's had success on carry top laners.
Yes!
Oh! Yes! Kennen for Zion Spartan. All right. Has he even been practicing this thing?
I don't care.
I mean, I've seen Zion play it before. Kennen is Rift's favorite champion. Full disclosure. We will...
Oh, boy.
We will talk about it a fair bit.
Awesome.
I have not seen Kennen in the top lane recently at all. It enhances the poke. It gives them a little bit of engage. heavy magic damage. It's not even close to a tank threat, but it might be enough damage to break through the shields that Cloud9 is putting through. As far as putting Zion Spartan on a carry, that is very much a goal for this CLG team now. What an interesting game changer on that last play.
Absolutely awesome. I'm excited to get into this game. I think Zion's got a tough road ahead of him here, especially now with the composition. They got people bouncing all over. Hopefully they can synergize these ults together in the first place. Bubba Dub shaking hands with the Ziggs.
All right, so based off of Zion Spartan's main solo queue account, he has 30 Kennen games on record in the ladder with a 57% win rate. So it's not one of those 80% Gamsu, Jarvan top lane win rates, but it's still practiced and fairly successful for Zion.
I'm excited to see it. You've now taken a look at the team comp, so share your thoughts with us. Tweet at LOL Esports, hashtag C9 win or hashtag CLG win, and we will update those as we get through this game. It's going to be an awesome one. Teams bringing out all the stops here. In the last few weeks, our day 2 of week 8, we're on to the Rift almost with Cloud9 versus Counter Logic Gaming, and it always provides a great match.
Oh yeah, and suddenly this is a hype match right now.
Yeah.
I love the pick and ban phase from these guys for the excitement it can bring to this match. And we definitely, more so than usual, have to pay attention to the early game swinginess of this matchup, because on the split, CLG is far and away the best early game team in the LCS. However, since High's return to Cloud9, Cloud9's early game has actually been much improved. Surprisingly so, because the first 10 minutes of the game generally just speak to individual mechanics. He's also been farming about the same pace as Meteos has been, but Cloud9, whether it be through pick and ban phase or through confidence, has been pulling out early game leads quite reliably. So it's going to be a nice matchup here against CLG, the early game guys.
Those as well, we saw even with High coming in on Rek'Sai, when he would fall behind, if he got hit up in the jungle, they'd still find a way to get themselves even or even grab a few hundred gold leads still. Yeah,
heavy
double wards across the sky.
Yeah, CLG really trying to disrupt Balls' level 2 because they heavily spec for Zion Spartan to get a lane advantage. Look at the sacrifice CLG put through. Nice little sidestep there by Aphromoo.
Minions spawn.
Yeah, they did not want to give a free level 2 to the Maokai. Oh, nice. Nice harass there by Lemon. Cheeky little supports trying to disrupt each other's early game. That's why these two teams are really trying to heavily focus on these first few minutes.
Minions spawn in soon, but I think everybody's going to have time to, or rather, meeting soon, I should say. And everybody's going to have time to get there. Might miss a CS or 2 for Aphromoo. Not going to be too bad since we don't have these matching up here. But I feel like Zion Spartan's going to be able to do pretty good 1 or 2v1ing on that Kennen.
Yeah, but I mean, successfully slowed down a little bit because High and Balls are now double jungling a little bit. I actually prefer this in most situations for jungling. What was happening earlier on in the split was a top laner soloing a camp and a jungler soloing a camp.
Right, you get Maokai to hit up the Raptors, do whatever.
In which case, both people hit level 2. The top laner generally recalls and then comes back to lane level 2. Right. What teams are doing now is they're double jungling 2 camps, where the top laner takes most of the damage, they share the experience, both people get level 2, and the top laner recalls anyway, but the jungler is now healthier.
Wow, Incarnation going hard on Pobelter here in the mid lane on his own accord. A bit of a 1v1 between these guys, forcing down the biscuits. We'll get some more action here from this lane. Lemon already on the rotation. The 2v1's providing a lot of action actually here. Before, it was just a stalemate, kind of gentleman's agreement between our last game. These guys are trying to make something of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how these lane swaps end up playing out, because CLG's going with a fairly quick push, as is Cloud9 in the bottom lane, and the top laners are not even thinking about engaging in that turret hold game where you could pick up a whole bunch of CS, but it's interesting because no one is actually pressuring that turret. So if Zion really wanted to pick up a big wave, he would teleport right now, which is exactly what he's doing. Smart move.
Damn, Jet. Got him. Gets
Zion
onto the bot lane.
He knows how to get his farm in CS, that's
absolutely.
For sure.
Remember, it's that privilege he was talking about. Lightning rush through the wave right quick. Tries to get that W down. He should be all right. Electrical Surge will farm him up some good minions. Smithy playing Gragas quite a few times. I think 4 out of the last 5 games he's been putting Gragas under his belt. So, somewhat working out for the team, somewhat not. So far, so good though.
High KDA, but not the same kill participation as others. And a few whoopsies per game on Gragas, which is not what you want for reliability. But CLG,
everybody always remembers the
CLG has full confidence in Xmithie, regardless of the whoopsies.
It's like 10 good plays to forget a whoopsie. It's like ratio. Great trade here as the lanes actually match up. You saw that happen very fast. Sneaky pushed away bot lane and wanted to get into the face of CLG on that top side. Stop their roaming, keep Aphromoo in a lane. See what Hai can continue to do. They've been keeping Sneaky's ghouls and Hai's traps within that side of the jungle. Pobelter gets hit. Shifting Sands to safety. That would have been a very aggressive dive, but wouldn't put it past for first blood.
Yeah, I mean, Pobelter still has both summoners, but he is starting to get wrecked in CS here from some of the jungle spears, but mainly Incarnation's aggressive play. Have to credit this early Orianna lane bullying, but through the minions.
Anybody going?
He knows Pobelter has barrier. He knows Pobelter has barrier, so he's not going to fully engage. But this will push him completely off even the next wave of CS. I think he was trying to wait for a gold breakpoint, which is why he's sticking around, but he's denied heavily. Only 20 CS at the 5-minute mark.
So nicely done. Definitely avoiding a lot of what could be's as well. Incarnation running that Ignite. Very unsafe if you were to get locked down in the mid lane to Pobelter's barrier. So avoiding a very dangerous laning phase. Hai everywhere with these spears or javelins right now. Looks like he is going to go back without too much mana. Doesn't want to bait the team into a bad situation, and they're going to play this one very safe.
Obviously, Nidalee has been changed since 2014, but Hai played a pretty mean Nidalee mid back in the day, so the spear accuracy doesn't lose.
Really good point.
Don't lose that talent. So he's really been doing a nice job getting those spears down at the sacrifice of his own jungle CS. But it will definitely be helping out Incarnation in that mid lane.
I don't know. Seems like there's 2 games to be played with Nidalee. Javelin and then Cougar Form. Cougar Form can cause a lot of problems for people. Everybody likes to throw Javelin. So we'll see how this turns out. Looks like it's going to be good regardless. Like you said, Hai playing that mid lane Nidalee. Shouldn't have too many problems. 6 minutes here. No kills yet. Even with all this action we've had back and forth through lane swaps, it looks like they are actually going to try to get a safe back for Doublelift here. He's going to miss quite a few CS in lane though.
Yeah, Hai really not farming that much, but still outputting a lot of farm pressure. If he continues to do this and not get any kills, he will fall behind. So he's got to be a little bit careful, going back to farm just a wee bit.
Top lane could be an option.
Yeah, that's the chance.
All right, where's the Ignite pressure down? The barrier comes out. That'll hit most of it. Forces the flash as well. Double summoners down in the mid. Flash for Incarnation up, and Hai definitely looking for a kill here. Got to be careful. Emperor's Divide. No, he does not. Level 5. Not even close to hitting that. Oh, body block by Minion. Very nicely done.
We do all that work
to
talk up Hai's spear throwing ability. Face plants it into a minion.
Giving the team vision. They're hanging around here for a long time. Having a vision on Xmithie, though, and the rest of the lanes, they don't really have anything to worry about.
The lane pressure from Cloud9 in the mid is immense right now. I mean, across the board, even this sneaky Lemonation lane with Karma and Kalista are crushing early on in the map. Dude. Where has this Cloud9 been all split is the real question. Because they're doing some serious work here in the early game.
All the calls are right.
One big difference here, obviously, this is the first game where Incarnation has received significant jungle attention from his own side. Hai has lived in that mid lane, throwing spears down at Pobelter, while Xmithie has been heavily farming. So that's a lot of that discrepancy. I mean, it's doubled CS for Xmithie over Hai, but it's more important if you're doubling in the mid lane, which is what Cloud9 has been able to maximize here early on with Orianna.
And to add to that, Incarnation almost was a catalyst to the first pressure being allowed to happen. Him and Pobelter went for that 1v1 that hit each other pretty hard. And now he is hatching that ward. This could be at a safe spot. He'll know he's on it after a while. Pobelter backs all the way up. Pretty fresh mana bars in the mid lane here, so we could get some more action. But like you said, coverage around that mid. Ward placed and a bushwhack as well by Raptors to make sure that Incarnation stays safe. Another game where he has a CS lead as well.
Very aggressive and dangerous invade there by Hai.
Oh, I thought I saw something.
Yeah, it was just a white cat. It's not there anymore.
Dang.
Early Sightstone by Xmithie as well. That's where he's put a lot of his gold. So he's going to want to at least locate a very low farm number. Zion Spartan as well as the one member of CLG, along with Xmithie, who are pulling ahead, but the one laner of CLG who was pulling ahead.
Abyssal Scepter for him as well to come up here. I wonder if he'll change that into a few more items. We will see. It wouldn't be too bad with all the magic resistance coming up. And it looks like without that lane swap, without the initial strategy the CLG put up, they're having a hard time keeping Doublelift in that top lane very safe. They don't really have the advantage in the matchup, getting poked out all the time by Lemon Nation either. That Karma is ferocious the way he plays it. And already back onto Doublelift again. Aphromoo gives a shield out, and that's all he can do.
Yeah.
Sneaky can just dodge out on the Howling Gale immediately.
Just trying to keep the wave away from their turret, but now with
Mantra.
the early assistance, the slow can make the spear land.
Now they have to watch Rick Smithy. Oh, the Fate's Call takes away the explosive cast damage.
Teleport though.
Very well timed. They're in a bad spot for this one. Looks like they've already been able to split it. Zion Spartan coming in, slicing Maelstrom, goes down. First kill picked up. He can tag one more if he gets the Storm Mark on, but it's not going to be it. Balls actually comes in very strong, and with Incarnation having command Shockwave up, CLG starts to back off as he walks towards the top lane. Crazy stuff.
Spartan has the greater impact with his teleport.
He's already got the mark.
Oh, he landed the stun!
They do get the stun off. Not going to be much follow-up from the rest of the team. And it looks like they back off for now. High also very low here on resources. Cloud9 only going tit for tat. Can't really pick up the kills.
Something about the Cloud9 versus CLG matchup right now always leads to these good games. But meanwhile, Incarnation, with everything being expended in the top lane, knows he is free to play as aggressive as possible. 40 CS up just after 10 minutes. The inverse of what happened in Incarnation's first LCS game, where he had a 40 CS discrepancy. This time, he's the one getting a ton of the jungle pressure, and he's playing with confidence. So many of Incarnation's games this year, he has been missing free CS. Time and time again, he's getting pretty much all of this game as
all
well
over
as
a
harassing.
pink ward here.
Yeah, this is...
Wing! Right on the edge, too. Pulls him into the
over the wall
of the command Shockwave.
He was going for the kill. He actually didn't even burn Pobelter's barrier, so honestly a little bit of over-aggression now. That's going to make him play a little bit more passive, knowing he doesn't have that flash for an escape.
That's also that timing memory, right? Pobelter used that in vision of them last time, so he's going to have it up. Not a huge cooldown. Still, like you said, causes him to play safe. That loss of pressure could mean some big things. Dragon's going to go over to CLG here. A little bit of rotation down could give C9 the timer when it goes out. I don't know if we can get that. This looks like Lemon Nation will be able to get a ward in. Things are getting cleared up around the map. CS
probably go
lane.
for a steal.
Oh, would he?
He's not going to get it.
Mantra hit? Oh, imagine if you get hit with an extra Mantra Q. Good lord.
Yeah, Xmithy knew his
Never
smite damage. Dragon was at 400 and he smote for 540. So even though it timed exactly with the explosion of the Mantra Q, it's never going to get it when he smites at that point.
So Zion Spartans teleport to the top lane, and he stays for a little bit longer. He was able to grab the turret for his team. A bit of extra gold on top of Dragon there, so cross-map advantage somewhat gained. They still have to look for this lane advantage. Doublelift is down in CS, can still provide the utility for his team for where they need to get in the situation, though. Sneaky 106, so he's building up for a Bloodthirster himself.
Yes, very much so. Doublelift going with the Avarice Blade, since he knows he's just going to be playing to push the waves as much as possible. It's going to be a tricky game here for COG. Yes, they do have the one turret advantage, but they are losing two out of three lanes, which makes it difficult for their playstyle that's been winning, where they're just out-rotating, over-farming, killing the turrets, because Cloud9 is kind of winning the wave clear and pressure advantage. Therefore, COG has to play on their back for a little bit and find the opportunities. They get that one kill with Zion Spartan's teleport, but as far as playmaking opportunities, the rest of it would have to fall on really strong ganks from the Gragas. And there's no Sightstone yet on in Nidalee. We may not see one, so maybe there's an opportunity to find those things. Oh, possibly. No turret for Zion.
Slicing Maelstrom will stop some of the damage. High stays out nicely long enough so he doesn't get marked up too much with those marks of the Storm, and they make it out. A kill onto Zion Spartan in the top lane, and I was going to wonder when all this pressure they put in the early game would start to pay off. They're able to get something in the top lane from the movement.
My mistake. I thought the turret was dead. It will soon be dead. Zion could not make it into his turret. That was a
I thought it was dead. I mean, it's chipped away.
Yeah,
it almost looked dead.
It's basically not there, right? Pobelter goes aggressive.
That gives Incarnation a lot of room to walk around. A nice shockwave! He turned it around! One! Incarnation looking to make the plays! He's in the minion wave, but he might have it. The flash forward, not there. What a play with the Ignite still up on that one. Pobelter didn't get a chance to barrier there.
What a turnaround right there. 1v2 at the origin point of the Azir wall. He just knocks them out with the shockwave. Smithy and Pobelter. That lane's not getting any better when you send 2 and still walk away with 1 deceased.
Those are the plays people have been waiting for Incarnation to pull off by himself. And he was able to do it that time. Did not seem like he was too flustered and handled it with a calm, cool head.
Looking like a very strong week for Incarnation. That 1v2 kill, his 9-0 game on Ahri.
Yeah.
Where's this guy been sleeping? Like, what has happened in the last week or two for Incarnation? After a split of mediocrity, he is looking super good in these last 2 games.
Yeah, not even on the champions that really made him famous in solo queue either. Getting to that support style with the team, letting the game grow through every lane, and now able to do that through his own lane by himself. Only going to help Cloud9 grow more. Counterlogic Gaming, though, still with that first dragon. First turret, good movements around the map have set them up to easily be in this game. And we'll see this fight go one more. So, not very many wards for him either to go aggressive here.
Wow, Pobelter, he didn't connect with the Q at the start of that combo, which is what I think he wanted them to do, but you can tell CLG is looking to set up the play, and then they end up over-tunneling. They didn't have the burst damage because the EQ combo from Azir didn't land, but they continue on the play anyway. Incarnation played it cool and collected, let them walk into the shockwave, then triggered it to hold them back, and knew exactly when he could go for the kill. Ignite on Orianna. A lot of people take a defensive summoner spell on Ori. The Ignite has been paying off with the lane pressure he's provided on a Pobelter.
Xiao Shao do it the other day, and it definitely helped. Pobelter bringing out that Azir. Like we said, we haven't seen it since week 3. Now down about 60, or I should say 55 CS. The Incarnation there. A little bit of help with the pressure in mid. High looking to zero out Doublelift by himself, and a very defensive on the hunt used by Doublelift Sivir to get everybody to safety on that.
I have to give a lot of credit to High's jungling this game. Even with like all the lane pressure he's been able to put out, and he hasn't even fallen behind of Xmithie very heavily in both. I mean, they have a 1 turret advantage, but High is 200 gold behind the Gragas. When you talk about the advantages he's been able to let his laners run with, it's a two-way street, as High would say, a team game. So he helped out Incarnation a bit, and then Incarnation has to push that advantage. And it's been working. 2,000 gold lead now over CLG.
The Abyssal Scepter coming in for High as well on his Nidalee. Looks like he wants to stay pretty safe if he's diving into these Zion Spartan engages. Belter with the Morello Namakan into his Blasting Wand is just trying to stay safe. Not really many wards around him either. See what happens. 30 seconds for Dragon. This may be a chance for Counterlogic Gaming to get a good Kennen ultimate in there and get the team into a winning position.
Of course. Still been a close game. CLG has kept it close.
Hello.
High is very squishy. The Negatron Cloak helps, but he's still very low health versus a magic penetration built Kennen. Shockwave.
Nice. Just Dragons in 10 seconds. He just chunked half of the team. A perfect play by Incarnation there, but they don't have the wards around Dragon, and it can still be thwarted with some good ultimates from CLG. Cloud9, however, are going to converge on that and see what they can do.
CLG is behind the curve as far as playmaking. They're trying to make up for it now, but they're chunked low and engaging a fight.
C9 still has to work as a team, even if they feel like they have the advantage going in. They get routed by Counterlogic Gaming. Balls is in there by himself. This could be the command Shockwave. No, it's already been used, remember, just in the previous fight in front of the turret. So that cannot be re-entered in. Sneaky goes down, and even with that pressure of Incarnation, looking good in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Not pay off all the way.
Zion Spartan, his teleports have netted CLG both of their kills. They're trying to play catch-up with these teleports, though, because they're falling behind. That was, going back in time, a standard push up the wave before a dragon attempt. Incarnation stopped that, but then Cloud9 also went a little aggressive with their pathing, and CLG caught them while they were running back to the dragon. Now it's actually C9 who will be late to this dragon, but Cloud9 who wants to pressure off the dragon. Xmithie taking a lot of damage. This is going to be a conflict.
Big ultimates down.
Spear landed.
630. That's going to be a hit from Doublelift actually to take down Dragon. Counterlogic Gaming now bouncing the entire team of C9 back. A good ult from Shockwave. It goes down. The flash from Zion Spartan, and the spell shield coming in from Doublelift saves their grasses. And they're now about to get out of this one. 19 on the clock. I think this fight's going to be just slowing down a little bit.
Wow. Whew. The narrow escape. Oh, Hive missed his jump over the wall.
Double wards again.
They see him, man.
Kai, you're very, very crazy. He knows what he can do, baiting him in. It's going to be the lockdown on the tether over the wall. They take down Xmithie. They get his ultimate. How are these fights even still continuing? The CLG wants to tempt themselves back into it.
I mean, we knew both teams had a lot of move speed and mobility, but now they're using it to chase each other down. So these fights are stretching over large periods, large areas on the map. Yeah. And so many people on CLG are low that Cloud9 wants to push, but the wave clear of Sivir is keeping the turret alive.
Double lift spell shield, keeping him alive very much so on that command Shockwave. And that fight went on long enough for Incarnation to pretty much use it twice. Once in the mid lane and then once at Dragon. So we had a full cooldown coming up on Shockwave there between the entire battle. 5-2, 20 minutes in. We're getting the game that we wanted out of these guys, but Cloud9 with a 5,000 gold lead here. Looks like they should have some more convincing fights.
The only thing that CLG has on their side, Riv, is the 2 dragons. They barely secure this one here. Balls was almost able to chunk out Xmithie there, but the shield arrived and where Balls would have detonated his ultimate to kill him, and from there, it's just kind of a messy team fight. Oof. Super timely spell shield by Doublelift to save his skin there. And a nice flash by Zion Spartan. He may not have needed it. It was going to be right on the tip of that Shockwave, but safety nonetheless. 230 CS for Incarnation versus 157 on Pobelter.
Yeah, at 20 minutes.
Big difference.
Pretty good CS lead, especially to be at 20 minutes, 230. He's hitting the clip very hard right now and above average. Sneaky in the bot lane, 10 CS lead for himself as well, and a handful of CS lead for Balls on the top that'll be cleaned up at some point and just keep evening out. The Zhonya's will be very big for Zion. It's going to make those teleports much more dangerous when the team cannot take out that factor of AoE.
He's still pretty far away from it, though.
Yeah, he is.
Only sitting on 400 gold, as well as that Seeker's Arm Guard.
Hey, it's cheaper now.
It is cheaper. Less AP. AP itemization changes.
Yep. Feels good. Feels good. Oh.
See who's faster.
Well, when you flash forward, you're going to get an advantage in the fight. Can't be too sneaky about that situation. The Talisman of Ascension still use everything they could do, but when CLG wants something, they will get it.
Yet that's the Sivir ult lane gank, the old trick. Cloud9 pushed a little bit deep and also not in a position to press her elsewhere. That's the fatal flaw. So CLG, they're able to devote the Sivir ult to a bunch of people, and they are not sacrificing anything. So a very timely play by CLG as they try and claw their way back from this big gold deficit in this game.
Third double ward. There'll be an advantage we see from it at some point. All backing on a ward. Something like that as well gives Cloud9 a little bit of breathing room here. They know CLG wants to go back, but unfortunately, they can't do much with it besides patch up these lanes for now. Also, their camps have been denied on the way out, so not much for C9 to pick up here. And what was that 5,000 gold lead? We saw about 33,000, 27,000. I guess that's 6,000 at the time. It's closed up now. Not too much here that CLG has to work for to get this one back to even.
Yeah, they still have the potential late game scaling of Azir. Kennen, also, as far as a damage perspective, will always be able to provide heavy threat.
Yep.
So a lot of damage will be able to come through from CLG, but Cloud9, heavy shielding, good healing, the death cap advantage being completed on Incarnation. Huge power spike. You can see Pobelter trying to make up for it. A lot of times you'll see Void Staff second if you're behind as a main, you still want to maintain relevance.
Yeah.
That's what Pobelter has had to go with on this Azir.
Looking at Xmithie's inventory, I would expect to see another Aegis as well on the side of Cloud9.
He has no flash.
Oh boy.
He used it to kill Sneaky.
Yeah.
Aphromoo far too up. Chilling Smite to line up the spear. Nice play by Heist Nidalee. It's one of those times where you die in lane, say, oh yeah, summoner's down, and then your team actually takes advantage of it after you kill because I knew exactly that Aphromoo flash was down.
You're like, maybe this will happen 5 minutes from now. Oh my god, we made something out of it. Double lift again. Arcane Smash does not connect because of the spell shield, so he can get himself to safety without taking too many shots from Sneaky. This is where C9 is starting to create the pressure. This is what they weren't doing when they just died in the bot lane, and it's going to be Incarnation in the mid. Looks like he's actually, with High here, able to pull a few more members over of CLG. That goes nicely over. Ward clearing out his Raptor buff. Let's see, Zion Spartan to the bot lane with that TP up. Still does not have the needlessly large rod, but we'll have to keep an eye on where their deep wards are. Doesn't look like he has too much of a flank other than the one right in front of the fight.
Definitely.
There's one up top.
This is a really interesting moment in the game because Cloud9 needs to heavily prioritize this next dragon. The only thing they're really behind on in this game is the dragons. They're up in turrets, kills, and gold. But they don't want to overcommit to this because that would leave them open to Baron, and they also lose wave pressure. But it does look like they prepped this pretty well. Can they get a pick? Flash still down.
Aphromoo gets hit immediately. So that's within 5 minutes. They are continuously going after him in that cooldown. Dragon's alive, like you said. Stopping number 3 is quite big, so CLG can't start to turn on that Baron button, or that Dragon button.
Where CLG, 5. They needed to be more of a team. The squishy guy without flash shouldn't be the first one into board. It should be your tank jungler. Instead, Cloud9 going for a flank engage.
A lot of pings from Zion. He's in the pit behind the entire Cloud9 team, but he can't seem to get his ult on. It's already been used, and it didn't provide much. Cloud9 fought Zion in his slicing maelstrom while keeping the rest of CLG at bay.
He wants shockwave. He still has it.
Close. He's waiting for that. He's seeing if he can bait out the shield. Gets it, and Pobelter's flash as well. He's hoping to get both with a trick of just moving the ball. But unfortunately, Doublelift on point with that.
Flash and a spell shield, but all of that was created because Cloud9 was first to the spot and because CLG wasn't coordinated as a team. Once again, Xmithie has thousands of health and an Aegis as well as a Sidestone of his own. He should have been the one warding this one. And then mixed messages. Zion wanted to go in, but the rest of CLG was delayed by Incarnation's presence with the Orianna ball. Yeah. So they end up closing down, crushing Zion Spartan as well as the Dragon, and winning the fight.
That's tough too. With just the Seekers going into that fight, you're not going to blow up an AD carry with an Abyssal Scepter. So a very tough decision just to decide to fly in there with a Kennen. You get the lockdown, but like you said, no follow-up with the good blocking of Incarnation. So 8-3 now, coming up on 27 minutes. Again, that gold lead has been extended into the favor of Cloud9 as they got CLG in a bad spot for that Dragon fight. Items coming up now, Righteous Glory. Keep going into the fight. Balls has had that for a while as he continues to get tankier. It looks like High is going to start building into a Zhonya's as well. He has the magic resist plus power. Now he wants AD defense plus power. Get that armor.
Tank Maokai. He knows that the double up damage will come online eventually. Probably expect to see him finish his Spirit Visage first, just because the Kennen Azir Gragas is coming online much faster than Double's physical damage will be. So the proper build for Maokai, in my opinion, right now.
I think that's... Oh boy! Pobelter just flashed out of last situation. They decide not to go. Talisman was called as well into that fight, as they thought the Righteous Glory was just wearing off. That does quite a bit of damage. Xmithie favoring that Aegis early is taking good hits here from Sneaky. Not somebody he really has to worry about in the fight. That Aegis just a null magic mantle on Lemonation right now.
Yeah.
That's what CLG is hoping. If they get a good group fight, that AP is going to tear through this.
What's interesting is Cloud9 has no room for an Aegis of their own right now. It's not going to fit on Nidalee, and it's a long time until Lemonation will be able to complete it if they go with the support Aegis of the Legion like they did yesterday when Lemon was on a tank support. If anything, this would have actually been a game to build it on your top lane instead of that Spectre's Cowl for balls. But that's a discussion for another day. CLG moving their move speed to go in.
Incarnation, that's going to be the focus they need. He does not have a Zhonya's to be used in this one, and CLG start to find their priority targets. High is going to be next. Emperor's Divide. Do they still have the vision, though? Over the wall. It's the soldiers that give it to him. Pobelter gets what he needs on that play. Now on to balls. Power Logic Gaming find the perfect fight once Zion Spartan had his flash up to engage it.
Just like that, a massive gold deficit, and they get a 4 for 0. That's one of the things that happens. Talisman for Lemonation had been burned in the previous attempt.
Right.
I think he didn't have it up there, no Righteous Glory. Incarnation caught out first, so no Shockwave coming through, no Aegis to stop the Kennen and Azir massive magic damage coming in. And Cloud9 gets wrecked. Let's watch this one more time. Sivarol.
Talisman is hit now.
They really only care about Incarnation, and a great ultimate by Xmithie to isolate the Orianna and prevent Cloud9 from assisting him right there. Splitting the fight as he should. At that point, the realistic damage threats are just Sneaky and High, who Pobelter manhandles with his Azir right there. Lemonation can only hope to watch on the outside. What a fight by CLG right there. And obviously Cloud9 split up. They were not able to peel with the move speed that Karma and Ori could have granted the whole team.
Yep.
And the super speed Kennen kept him.
Taking away that Janna. It would be great to have that Janna against the Kennen. Not many compositions right now control a whole team like that. You have a Maokai that goes in and grabs somebody, right? It's one guy. Kennen's going to lock down your entire team. You want to get away immediately.
You want to spread out.
Haven't seen that play in a while. Seems to be catching Cloud9 off guard here into the late game where Zion feels good enough to go straight in. That Sonya's finished up as well, and CLG are definitely a threat here. Every team fight. Cloud9's going to have to assess where they go with the rest of these fights. Incarnation now, Rabadon's, Rylai's, and his Athenes. Vertex.
Yeah, so it's a defensive build. The Rylai's is also good on the Orianna. Means every time he moves the Orianna ball, he gets a 40% slow on whoever it hits. But it also means his power is needing Matic penetration very heavily. Void Staff needs to be his next item, and it's a good 2,500 gold away.
Yeah. Ardent Sensor coming in now for Aphromoo. Gets that built on himself. We'll see that usually once his Janna gets an item. Actually, he rushed that, to be honest, after his Sightstone. Zion. Kennen actually has pretty good attack speed once he gets leveled up. It's just base for him. Almost able to take down the turret here. He's not going to be able to. Smithy comes in, a little bit of assistance. They're creating a human wall here from the mid turret to the bottom side so they can't get routed by Cloud9. Keeping it safe as well with these wards.
COG's done such a great job to fight back from this 5,000 or 6,000 gold deficit they had.
A few times. They've hit 5,000 gold deficit 2 times in this game.
Now with that turret, it's a lead.
Now a lead.
So yeah, double Zhonya's. Still no Aegis on the side of Cloud9. That punishes them in teamfights. Already COG would have had a bit of a teamfight edge with the Azir Kennen. It's exacerbated by the fact that Cloud9 has not been able to itemize optimally.
Number 3 can't be stopped this time.
Yeah, and Nidalee, not the greatest team fighter. I was able to provide a lot of early game pressure. Gave Incarnation that giant CS lead. But Pobelter has reached a point on Azir where his scaling is taken into account. COG miraculously back in the driver's seat here.
Big hit for Lemon there. Finally got that Aegis built up. This is going to be good for the team in fights. CLG. Almost waiting for that flash to be up here from Zion Spartan to get himself into a good spot. He's got distortion boots as well, so he can make that play over and over again. So Void Staff for him to come out next. Going to be very, very powerful Kennen, a Righteous Glory as well onto Xmithie. These guys want to put everything in their pocket that can continuously get them into fights and make sure everybody can close that flash gap that Zion brings to the table. Incredible that they've evened up this game. We were looking for a good one coming into this. Counterlogic Gaming, as we said, taking that game back in week 4 pretty handily. Definitely a different story now, as Cloud9 has changed up the team.
You betcha. Dead even gold. Aegis of the Legion completed by Lemonation.
So much help there.
A lot of effective health he is adding to the team with the 20 magic resist aura against the Kennen, Azir, Gragas. But Double Lift is also powering up, so those physical damage ricochets will be chunking. There's a lot of squishy targets on Cloud9. It's 4 squishies and 1 tank. Similar to COG. We're so used to seeing double tanks. This is a somewhat unlikely game. Single tank on both sides.
Yep.
Means the team fights can be very explosive. They can end very quickly. A lot of times it's just about getting that one pick onto anyone, blowing them up before they can get their skills off. Still no home guard boots on Maokai. You might expect that next, so that Cloud9 could force a nice initiation. Smithy, though, going for a pick right now, I think.
Oh, boy.
Even though they're not necessarily grouped up. What a strange start, but they might get Incarnation again.
Oh, wow. Mission Impossible. Xmithie going around. The Shockwave hits the rest of the team. Very nicely keeping Zion Spartan out of range of Incarnation, but they have to use a lot now to get up. Pobelter setting up base in the mid lane on the side of Cloud9. That might be enough to just start wiping out the team. They get C9 so spread, they don't even know how to reassess and get back into the fight.
It was very unexpected, too, because Double Lift was pushing the top lane while that fight was happening. And, oh, man, they're just going to continue to dive. They have so much strength right now.
What a play by Xmithie to somehow squeeze himself in. They keep continuing it. Usually you don't remember the guy that passes the ball off, but you will this time. What a play from the entire team to keep that one going.
You're a little bit trapped at the base.
This now kind of got weird.
Kind of awkward.
A little bit.
They don't want to be here.
All right, good catch.
But if they get the minion wave, they can probably take the turret. They think they need to get out of there.
I love how they keep walking to the gate as if it's going to open once for them. Backing off. Oh, Walter! So close. And close on that as well. Zion Spartan was ready to take a javelin for his teammate. A good slowing barrel, dropping the legacy of Shurima. Let's see how long they can keep him from going back. 40 seconds on Baron, so they can't deter him that long. It's only going to be a wild goose chase here for Cloud9 and Lemon Nation throwing out a few teams.
They're hoping to keep the pressure on and maybe get a turret, but I don't know if they can.
Not the biggest minion wave
recalls
here.
Long enough. And they'll get this one.
All right, it's still enough. 3 caster minions makes it okay. And even 1 live. Look at that. What a trooper. Moving out.
Cost of battle. That pick was so interesting because Incarnation nearly turned it around, but then Pobelter with the wall on his ear just completely stopped any follow through Cloud9 had. They're using their displacement spells pretty well in these team fights, whether it be a Gragas ultimate.
That's what I was worried about. I'm like, you're putting a Kennen in here. He's not going to like what your Janna and Gragas are doing, but they're working it great.
So the delay here, but then they summoned the Azir turret while everyone's chasing it, then nope, you're not coming through anymore, guys.
Oh, and the flash. I didn't see that either.
Yeah.
What a great fight coming in for Counter Logic Gaming. And C9 did like 110% had no idea because Sneaky had just thrown out a ghoul and Xmithie was already there just hanging around. So like, oh, this is totally clear. What a play.
If Xmithie got caught in there, he was dead for sure. It's such a risky pick because Doublelift wasn't even near as an AD carry, and he could have easily been collapsed on, but
that's what I thought would happen initially.
He somehow snaked his way through there.
Well, that can only happen a few times. I'm sure C9 will be looking for it again.
Speed!
Especially if they just go straight on a double lift. He's going to be flashing out of the initial twisted advance that did connect. And
right back at you.
Turn in. Zion Spartan, no flash. Gets twisted advance by Balls. A great stop of the slicing Maelstrom. The Insania's coming out to stop the command shockwave damage, and Xmithie doesn't even take that much. A nice pop. That's the hit coming in from Pobelter. He goes down in his attempt to get the fight in his team's favor. Counter Logic Gaming and C9 now staring eye to eye, trading blows back and forth, but yet only one person has fallen on both sides. The flash from Lemon Nation over. It looks like they finally broken apart in the fight. Zion Spartan could lag a few more tags of the Storm. He backs off. What a fight, and they may actually try to ward up Baron here for a bit further engage.
Yeah, these fights are awesome, Riv. The speed from Karma Ori Talisman on one side and the speed from Sivir on the other. They're just going back and forth. Bit of a Baron bait. That's an early exhaust. Doesn't really net them much.
Teleport's
Every summoner spell matters right now.
Yeah.
Teleport not having that exhaust could be huge.
Looks like C9 finally backs off. They have to be held accountable for this wave in the top lane now. It is just crashing into the turret, but you can see how ahead they've kind of put themselves, even without a gold lead, how much time they had to mess around there. Keep fighting, keep going, and yeah, that always feels really good.
Got to even up the gold right there. 59,000 apiece.
Boy.
COD gets another CS or 2. Oh my goodness.
10 to 10, 40 minutes in. Love it.
Yeah, so
absolutely awesome.
Void Staff being completed on Incarnation is a big power bump, but
just go.
Take over this fight.
Pedal to the metal.
You didn't see this out of Cloud9 before High came back.
Nope.
The willingness to fight and the team being on the same page. Everyone moving forward, but COG also has decent teamwork this game, so they also back away nice. They try and re-engage, and then it's just all hands on deck. Shockwave has been very well avoided by CLG a lot, whether it's Zonies or Flash Away. Pobelter goes in to make the hero play. It nearly works. He gets ticked on the backside by Incarnation. And the in and out of these fights is so clutch because it's not a tank-focused game, so you die very quickly if you're in the wrong spot, which is why move speed is at such a premium this game. Would not be surprised if Aphromoo picked up a talisman at some point just to get that extra move speed edge.
Yeah. Big breather. team's already in a position again to make the same fight happen with less summoner spells.
There's no turrets in the mid lane, so they could just go.
Why wait? You don't have to. Into double lift, that's a spell shield. Twisted advance can happen a lot quicker than spell shield can.
It's a lot of shields on him.
Get to balls, they can't help him. He flashes out. The shockwave goes in as well as the Fate's Call. They're gonna get knocked up and popped up, but when CLG hits the ground, they're running and gunning for the rest of the members of Cloud9. Sneaky, can he get the red buff? Gets the movement, gets the speed, into the brush, uses the orb, and he gets the kill. High now on the bot side. One spear kills Aphromoo. Double Lift's keeping him safe though as the bodyguard. And again, Cloud9, as soon as the batting order comes back up, they're right to the plate. And CLG has lost this one.
Just awesome team fighting we're seeing in this game. The double zonies as CLG tries to die Sneaky. The shielding of Incarnation. Incarnation flashing over wall to get the angle and provide the shield.
Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me.
And that's probably Baron. Doublelift wants to make a hero play, but dude, you are outnumbered 1 versus 3.
Outnumbered, outclassed in a 3v1. Difficult to do, but an attempt that almost had to be made by Doublelift. 40 minutes on the clock. Baron finally taken by Cloud9 after a huge tug of war in the mid lane.
That specific play by Doublelift after the spear had landed, not a good idea.
No.
Caught in the moment, you would say. Speaking of the moment, spear to start the fight. Once they land, they say, all right, go. Pobelter can't play aggressive at half health. Next one misses.
That's like to blow spell shield.
Spamming the shields on ball is very critical right now because it neutralizes the disengage factor of the shockwave.
Oh my
and finally a big shockwave that is not spell shielded. That nearly takes Doublelift out of the fight. And here's where the interesting thing matters. Double Zonias, but in the time of the Zonias, Incarnation makes it onto the other side of the wall.
Holy
and
that's
then
amazing.
Shield sneaking on the other side. Really nice ball control there by Incarnation. And Cloud9 takes control of the game back for themselves. And we're in the mid lane again. Are they going to go?
This is the best spot to be. This is where the war is happening right now. Fought twice within the past few minutes.
So rarely, Riv, do we see games where both teams have the team fight confidence to stand in the mid lane with no middle or inner turret. So that's such a long lane, and we know a team fight can happen, and they're willing to throw down and brawl. In what we thought was going to be a very rotation turret-based game, nope. They're going to fight.
Not at all. Both teams would definitely want to get down to the nitty-gritty here. The waves pushing themselves or just completely evening themselves out. Both side waves sitting at the river, so nothing has to be worried about there. Here, just the pressure in the mid lane and a Baron up Cloud9. Sivir, though,
look at that gold
easily able to clear these waves. Things are getting crazy here. I'm forgetting how to talk.
The win here,
41 minutes in.
Cloud9 would equal teammates' win total. Teammate have obviously yet to play.
Yeah.
And they really need those wins to try and get 7th, which would somewhat, obviously it keeps them safe in the LCS. And there would be the bonus points of having a chance to play first spot at Worlds, which is crazy in this juncture. But CLG as well, wanting to go into the playoffs strong for once. This game, this potential turret hold, it's so hard for Cloud9 to push in on this. The wave clear and the knockback from CLG. Well, unless Cloud9 wins a team fight in the open, I don't think they see this base at all.
This is going to be great for the side waves for now. They're hanging out. They have huge waves coming in. Hopefully on the left to right is when they pick off CLG, but not enough forward wards of positioning here. Now it's the same thing on this turret, and it doesn't even become that much easier with the disengage that CLG have. Usually this is the dangerous one. They can't defend it though, they are going to give it up. That's kind of just the safe move.
Yeah, and unless CLG gets poked out, it's a very, very high execution dive and very risky.
Right.
Cloud9 with teleport up, I'm surprised they're not escorting that other wave in the top lane to the turret, because these are easily being cleared away by Azir Sivir right now. And it looks like that Baron's probably going to end up timing out.
Once again, Cloud9 are going to lose that pressure on the top as well.
One more push.
Huge wave. They stay.
Baron is gone.
Pobelter, rather, not Incarnation to the top side, I should say. Just seeing the Azir trigger your brain. He's up there. I don't think C9's going to get the pressure that they really want to get in here, though. Still too much clear from the Sivir. They're going to make, or rather, Pobelter making his way back down. Now Cloud9 figuring out that it's going to be a very tough task to get past that turret. It's just probably going to be another Righteous Glory once they do it. But like you said, Jap, it's going to have to be very accurate. No mistakes allowed.
Wow. So, Aphromoo completing the Zeke's Herald. Giving...
I wondered what he was going with that.
Yeah,
Kindle Gem.
It's the attack damage lifesteal aura, but he just has the one guy who benefits from it, really, in Doublelift. So really just trying to aid his lifesteal.
Rush Hour sticks together.
I guess so. Expecting
Through
a
and through.
but the ore item reigns supreme. Sneaky. High wants it. He wants an item. Oh, High wants Death Cap. He's going to get it.
Does he have the money? Yeah,
he's sitting on 2,000
quite a bit of gold. All right, so a little gentleman's agreement here between both teams. Said, battled, bleeding, and bruised. Now we're going to farm up, get our final core items, and then once we are final form, we'll meet again in this mid lane. Baron still has a bit of time here. That tension will grow. 2 minutes onto Dragon as well, so that may be a factor that CLG wants number 4 on. They could really start to put Cloud9 on that teeter-totter.
Yeah. Team willing to give High that farm. Sneaky obviously sitting on pretty much max items. He hasn't upgraded his trinket or his boots yet, so, but for the death cap bonus that High just received, it's now a 660 AP middly. 720 on their mid laner. Pobelter not at max items yet, but he's going towards a similar build. And hey, guess what? We're in the mid lane again. It's the place to be this game.
What? You placed a ward? Let me clear that from 1,000.
At this point, with the long death timers, 45 minutes in round, if another team fight swings in the way it did before its game.
Both 80 carries respectively sporting all the items that they need here. If anything, the boots to be sold, more attack damage to come in. It's going to start getting to that point soon.
Yeah, there's been really heavy farm distribution in this game in the favor of mid laners and 80 carries. The top laners have had to suffer a little bit in this game that's collapsed towards the mid lane. It's very good for Cloud9 to be giving this giant wave to the Maokai, because even in the last fight, once he gets augmented by the shields, he can become unkillable. But if he's behind and getting shielded, he's still really big. Imagine if he's close to max items. He's the farthest away of the non-support champions from being max build right now. He needs it.
This is exactly how CLG did it last time.
Side waves are being pushed.
A lead. Lemon Nation speeding up the entire team with the mantra. Incarnation rather over the wall. A few hits back as well. Shurima goes up in the mid lane on second tier turret. CLG know they've kind of expended their initiation on that one. They're gonna have to hang out. Just the Sivir ultimate there. Not too much, but they back off. Righteous Glory, nothing to follow. Somewhat looking for this still, at least to get the poke into range, get CLG on the back foot.
Really interesting trade of flashes there. The initiation potential from Gragas for the flash of Incarnation.
Yeah, good call.
So that means Zion Spartan could still flash close on him.
I can't see them disengaging this fight fully.
It's a tight corridor.
There's a Talus. Oh my gosh, what a Howling Gale.
Cloud9 does not want to get trapped in a tight corridor with those CCs, but if it's spread out like this, that's kind of what they want.
Can't just fight the Kalista like that. She's going to dodge you out, but High tries to go into the backside with balls. A bit of a mistake. That kill did not cancel out anybody. They are going to keep alive here. Aphromoo can still add some shields from the backside. CLG now on to Sneaky, and Cloud9 continuing to try and pressure the fights. Sneaky, however, could be alive. He gets locked up. A last mark of the storm from Zion Spartan to shut him down. 60 seconds across the board on the clocks. They're going to start pushing down the mid lane to these inhibitors.
What a fight. 60 seconds, 48 on High, but it's a jungler and a top laner. They do have a minion wave-ish. Trailing them behind. Yeah, it's a cannon wave as well. The cannon minion is still alive. They can probably inhib off of this. What a crazy fight. Again, I've said that about 500 times this game, but it's a 35 kill game.
Cloud9 has to be thinking a lot about that fight because it's the one they wanted. Finally, CLG not held up behind their base turrets, trying to dive past the Sivir. That seemed like the most optimal fight, and C9 spread out immediately once it started.
Yeah.
Sneaky was doing good damage.
They're going to want to try and take the dragon beforehand. They should be able to clean that up.
There's a ping.
Giving them 4 dragons in a 6-minute time, around 54 minutes. Looking
one more time.
At this one more time. High was off in the back here. This is, so Cloud9 didn't want to stay in the corridor, but they almost overspread. Pobelter goes for the aggressive play up top, and he's the one who ends up starting this fight. So Xmithie is one thing, but High is another. The junglers got caught. Ooh, another spell shield by Doublelift on that shockwave, which is critical. And the flash that had been burned on Incarnation is punished here. They trap him in the zonies and take him down right away. That's why those cooldown trades were so interesting. And then Sneaky tries his best to be stun lands, allowing them to chain him from what could have been a pentakill if that body slam didn't land. Woo.
Happened so fast. I didn't see that many people die. I knew we got kills. That was an instant triple. Amazing stuff to come through, but you can still see with that, it's not happening at the right time.
They have the Callista secure.
Fight.
They can secure with it. It goes down so fast.
Levitation also picking up a Ludens. They're getting
gotta go fast.
Damage from the support here.
Gotta go fast.
It is low. It is down. It is Sneaky's, and Xmithie dove in. He tried. Karma goes down immediately. Levitation cannot start to shield the team, but that's a good hit from high. He takes down Xmithie. Pobelter pushes everyone in the pit, but I don't know. They may be able to fight from here. Now
they are trapped.
The Soldiers, however, they are just creating a needle pit right now for Cloud9 to sit in and shredding them to pieces. Doublelift getting kills. Zion Spartan and the rest of the team playing that one nicely once again.
That might be game. Cloud9 got trapped in a corridor. That's exactly what they didn't want. It's just Sneaky alive. Can he be a hero?
Yep. Into the minions. Nice job there as well. Kind of prevented himself from getting locked down with the marks of the storm. Maybe a bit of a breather. They have
Rush Hour versus Sneaky.
Yeah.
Right now. I think they can't go for it. Because of the Zion Spartan kill, Zion Spartan got a little bit ahead of himself going for the early inhibitor. Did not expect the home guard Sneaky, but it's still 45 seconds and a minion wave for CLG.
They're going to try for it, Jack. They are absolutely going to do this in the eyes of Sneaky.
Nice, they gotta go.
They're going to go to the turrets.
That's it.
Absolutely zero him out. They knew the play all along. They were putting the pieces in order, and they checkmate Cloud9 after 50 minutes. That kill breaks the even score, 22-21. A hard-fought battle, down 5K gold twice in the game. CLG takes out Cloud9.
We said that every time Cloud9 plays CLG, it's going to be a good one. And this may have been the best one we've ever seen. 22 kills to 21. Cloud9 has come so far as a team in the last couple of weeks, but not quite far enough. Just a few inches away, it felt like. So many team fights back and forth down the stretch. CLG just coming out on top. In the end, it was Rush Hour versus Sneaky because after we still had the exhaust, they could dive the Nexus turrets and take him down. Much needed win for Cloud9.